How do I avoid probate? It's the most common question I get as an estate planning attorney. My name is Andrew Ayers. I'm a lawyer who works with families and business owners to protect their legacies through planning. In the next few minutes, I'm going to try to go through the most common question I get, which is, how do I avoid probate? Now, if you've read any blogs, any books, any magazine articles, this is usually the starting point as to why you want an estate plan. It's so you can avoid the probate process. There can be a variety of mechanisms that you use to avoid probate. You can use a will, a trust, beneficiary designations, you can use joint accounts, you can assign your property to people, you can do transfer on death deeds, and you can do other payable on death designations. So with a variety of options out there, one of the biggest questions that comes from the how do I avoid probate is, should I avoid probate? And that's a question that you may not have asked yourself, but you probably should. When you're looking at the probate process, you're working with your local surrogates court or your probate court, and what that means is that your executor or personal representative is submitting your will that you hopefully have, or if not, at least your death certificate to the court, and then receiving documents from the court allowing them to distribute your assets. If you're in a state that allows for informal probate processes, this is not actually a very hard system to go through. You submit the death certificate and the will if there is one. They usually give you a short document saying you have the power to transfer assets. You can go take care of things and come back to us in 6 months. But it is a court filing, and many people are worried about the time and expense that it takes. If you have a complex estate, or if you don't have a will, then the time and expense can be significant in front of the probate judge. And there's also privacy concerns. So once a probate is opened with a court, you may find, or your personal representative and your family may find, you're getting a lot of things in the mail. There's many companies out there that actually monitor all the probate filings, and once they know somebody is deceased, they immediately send mail to them. For example, if you own a house at the time of your death, and then a probate is opened, many companies will actually immediately start sending offers to buy that house from you because they figure that an estate just wants to get rid of the house, and they'll do so at a lower price. They can fix it up, sell it, and make a profit on it. Dealing with the probate court, there's horror stories. If you look anywhere on the web, you can see all kinds of horror stories of people dealing with the courts, which is why most people will say, I don't want to deal with probate. And I agree with them, because there's no reason you have to deal with the probate process. You simply have to engage in some estate planning. This is why you need to know about this, because it's one of the most misunderstood parts of estate planning. So many people believe that if you do a will, there will be no probate process whatever. And the truth is, even if you do a will, when you die, a death certificate and the will be filed with the court. At that time, it's a much simpler process than if you just die without any kind of estate planning, and then the court has to sort out who your next of kin are, what assets you have, what has to be distributed, who your creditors are, who has to pay for what. So at the end of the day, you likely want to avoid probate, and the best way to do that is with estate planning. There's two ways you can try to do this. The first is by trial and error. And you can try to do this yourself. You can go to a website and try to find a will or a trust or whatever document they recommend to you as a way to avoid probate. But this is a very dangerous way to approach it. If you do something wrong, you'll never know about it because you'll be deceased. But your personal representative, your executor, your family members are going to spend time cleaning up that mess. That time and that money could drag on for years with thousands of dollars of attorney's fees because you went to a website that gave you a will for $49.99. The second way, a much better way to approach this, is to work with professionals. Work with your financial planner, work with your attorney to put together an estate plan. Not just a basic estate plan for your will, but also healthcare documents that govern what happens if you become sick so the right person is making decisions for you. Powers of attorney if in case you become sick and someone needs to manage your affairs. Working with a professional can alleviate a lot of the worries that you have about the probate system. So if you are ready to get started, go to andrewmayers.com, click on the Schedule a Consultation button, and you'll be taken directly to my personal calendar where we can set up a legal strategy session to review your estate planning and your estate plan goals and make sure we get the right documents in place for you. So how do you avoid probate? you work with professionals to make sure that it's done correctly.